Hi! Welcome to Gagging Crafts in Life. My name is Jackie, and I am trying to film this on a different machine than last time, and we are obviously in a different place. I'm hoping the lighting is good. It was bad when I started this. Changed a couple things, and hopefully it's better. So, if you've just found this, this is a channel mostly about cross stitch and some other crafts. If you want to follow and see more of my progress updates, you can follow me on Instagram at Gagnon Crafts in Life with no spaces. And okay, this should be a quick update. I think this week. I know I had 2 long videos. Actually, the second video never uploaded, and I just realized that. So I'm going to be trying to get that one, part 2, to actually upload, and then hopefully putting this video out there. Today is Monday, August 24th, and I'm hoping to be able to record this today and get it up. We have a finish and some whips to go over. And I'm also really trying hard to look into the camera and not where I see my face, so if I start looking this way, I'm sorry. I'm trying. So my finish is from the Prairie Schooler, A Prairie Year, August. And again, if anyone sees A Prairie Year 2 for a semi-reasonable price, let me know. I'd love to get that pattern too. So this is my August. Can't go too close without losing my light. I had some issues with this guy. Pull that out of the way. So while I was stitching him, this August, I got all of this square done, and then I did the bottom rectangle, and then I started with the AUG, and I realized that you can't really tell when they're right next to each other. Maybe you can a little bit, the way the weave goes. But this is one stitch short. So I was having trouble with my G. If I turn you more, will I get the light better? Maybe. So instead I just kind of switched and I unstitched all of it, and these are now 1/2 stitch off. And I raised it up a 1/2 stitch so that I could mix my G up a little bit to make it look a little better. And then after I got to the end and I got to the top of the T, I realized, and then I started to do the same thing I did on this one where I backstitched the whole thing with this blue strand. I started to backstitch this whole one after writing my name and the date in the bottom with a red strand, and I went up this way, and then I took the other strand down that way, and then I realized this name tag is 1 stitch over too many. So whereas like on this one, because it's perfectly lined up, you almost don't see the back stitch around here. And this one you clearly see this whole side because it's 1 stitch over because of the bottom. I'm not unstitching it, and I wasn't going to try to redo it, so that's how it is. I think if I was just starting out, it might bother me more. And I am starting out with cross stitch, but with all my crochet projects that I've done over the years, I've learned to just live with my mistakes, and like, especially if it's just for me and I'm not giving a project away, to kind of just laugh at myself, and it's a fun little story then next time you pull it out, and if someone's looking at it and you're talking about it, you're like, yeah, I messed that part up, I did this part over here. Nobody else is going to tell that that's over one too many, or even if they do, I meant to do it. Like, it won't matter. So I think that's probably a good thing of having done lots of crafts before, knowing that even if I see the mistake, other people won't. And this is going to go away now until the start of October, which is soon, and then it'll come out again and I'll start doing October on my prairie school or prairie year. Okay. Next, because it's right next to me, because I've been working on it, is sorry, I'm trying to think of the name without looking it up, because I also am very unprepared to film today, kind of spare the moment whenever I get a chance without anybody around to do this. So, let me pause for a minute. Okay, back. So this is Hemlock and Rye's Christmas in Nantucket, and this is Cherry Street. With the light, turn it this way. That better, maybe. A little bit. Okay. I'll come over here so you can get more of the light. I still have the issue with the trees blending in, even in this lighting. I'm working on finishing off the grass behind here. And then I have the window to finish. And then I still have a little bit of purple for the house color here and up here. And then I'm going to figure out what to do about the trees, outlining them in like a white, gray, ecru. Not sure yet. But yeah, there's my progress on Cherry Street. And again, in some light, you can see the trees. And in some light, you can't. So I definitely want to just do something with them. Any other ideas are welcome. Either here or on Instagram. You could find a picture and comment. Okay, that's my big old project. Sorry. Because I'm unprepared today. We'll do the Christmas tree, Tiny Ornaments by Brucella. So I think I showed last week that I had started. Did I ever start this guy last week? I feel like I did. Okay, I'm just kind of going through my notes on. Yep, and this one is the names are not going to be my friend today. I'm sorry, this is after work. My brain is already kind of brain dead with words. My penguin. This is the penguin stocking ornament. I think it comes down here and then it comes out. And I also had a lot of stitching issues. I really want to look into the camera. I'm sorry. I had a lot of stitching issues this week. Up here, was it this year? No, this year. This year is actually a stitch or a half stitch off from where it was supposed to be. And then I kind of didn't want to stitch on them anymore because I didn't want to unstitch anything. But I realized that the rest of the black part of the penguin is still okay. And so now I have it figured out. So now I've started stitching on it again in the mornings with his little earmuffs. And then we've got most of the face, even though you can kind of see it in this lighting. Even though it's a white face. And then probably work this week and get his nose in, maybe some more of the earmuffs. I think I'm missing a little bit of white in the earmuffs, and then start coming down the penguin. So, my cute penguin. Tiny Christmas ornament. So that's one finish, 2 whips, last whip. And this is my big hook project. So it's going to hang up there behind the hooks on the board when I'm done with it. And this one is the bookshelf pattern from what I showed last week. I didn't do the cozy stump side, but I've been working on the bookshelf side. and it's still on the Q-snap because I'll be working on it later. Sorry, I want to get better lighting. And what I did this week on it is all of this background is in half cross stitch. So I started that this week. This right here that's still missing is the last color I had on order, and it did come in. I just didn't want to fill it in and get confused with when I'm half stitching and when I'm full crossing. So I just haven't done that piece yet, and there's a little, you can't even see it, there's like 3 stitches down here somewhere that are missing because it's that same color. And I'll be putting those in. I think my plan is to put those in this week and then continue with some of this background stitching. And obviously I hit the page markers about here. I don't know if I can get in any closer without losing my light to show you that these are all half stitches, and that's why you can see some of the white coming through. I really like the effect that it has being lighter like that with only a half stitch. Even if some of the colors are right next to, like it might be the same color, but now that it's half stitched, like it looks like the background. And you can obviously see there's going to be another little fairy here, like there is one up here, and there's one down there. There'll be another fairy up here, but right now we're just back stitching the background behind her, which is going really nice. And even the back stitches are they're not back stitches, they're half stitches. Sorry. The half stitches are also with single color threads and then blended threads as it goes through. But I think my goal for this next week, because I don't think I'm going to move back to Cozy Stumps this week. I think I'm going to stay with this one. I want to fill in the fairy. I want to fill in the bottle. I want to get the rest of my color so that page 1 is completely cross-stitched without back stitching. And then I want to continue on to page 2 and try to either put more of the single cross or more of the half cross background. We'll see how far we get. And that'll be on the hook project behind me. Okay, that's all my whips. Told you it's a really short video this week. I was going to bring out some crochet items, but I still never got to get back to my Gagnon blanket. And since I'm in this room right now and I don't want to go out to the other room to grab anything, I don't have any of my other blankets that I worked on or have done. The last thing I want to go into is, or that I've done this week that's kind of cross-stitch adjacent, is, and again, totally unprepared for this. I have a little card holder for index cards. Apparently I got it at Staples for like 99 cents years ago. I don't know. I'm sure they still carry something like it. But I got it back when I was in college or pre-college. And from Made by Micheele McGraw on Flosstube, and on, I think that's still her same name on Instagram also. She was making, I mean, hers were cardstock and they were beautiful and they were colored and they were everything. But she was putting a lot of her projects on index cards, like so you can remember the information that you've had with them. And not that I have a lot of projects going, but I kind of wanted to do something similar. So I have my first card that I made, and this one has all of the, because I also went on a pattern buying spree recently with that shop that had a sale. I don't know if they still have a sale going on, and since I never uploaded my video part 2, I don't think you guys know that they had a sale going on either. Sorry. But I got a lot of her patterns, because snowmen, no other words needed. So I have like the patterns that I have and that I've started them and their dates that I've started, and then I left room so I can put like their end dates, like if I finish them. And then these are all the patterns that I now have PDFs of or in person. There's like 3 or 4 that are missing from this card. I have to go through my bag again, and like the kit I showed you last week that has the cardinal, that's not on here. But everything else kind of that I know I want to work on at some point is. And then each card has their individual thing, so they also come with like little tabs. My first tab is stuff I'm working on right now that is currently in progress. My Prairie Year, my Christmas in Nantucket, and on here I have things like the Christmas in Nantucket. I'm stitching it on a 20 count vintage country mocha, Ada fabric. It has 3 house patterns. I put my conversion that I did for my Cherry Street on here. I left room for the other 2 houses and what I'm going to convert, what floss I'm going to use for those. A reminder that that's from Kansas Girl in a Colorado World, and YouTube and on Instagram. And so I also have like little notes on here, so if I am filming, I can pull up my card and remember. Yeah, so that's from Julie, these Christmas in Nantucket, and they're awesome. If I ever get to, I will put links to them below. If not, the links, if you click on like my face underneath this video, it'll bring you to like the page. And I think that if you scroll over, I think it says like videos, playlists, and I think at one point it says channels. And on this channel, the only things I've liked, and then you can see them on there, are all Flosstube channels that I currently like enjoy watching, have watched quite a few of them. The only things you'll find in that list that are not cross-stitch related is sidecar stories, because I've been listening to Harry Potter with my son at night, kind of doing a story time, having the book in front of us and listening to him read, which is, I love his Harry Potter Out Loud series. But just so I'm easier, because I'm always kind of going back and forth now between my YouTube, like signed in with this channel's name. So I just wanted to make sure I have easy access to sidecar stories, so that if it's bedtime, I'm not trying to fiddle with my phone. And then the other one that I think I put on there that's not cross-stitch related is probably Home Free, because it's just my music channel. I like to listen to their songs. They're like an a cappella band. And I've gone to see them a few times, and I hope to go see them more once all of this is over. Sorry. And then more tiny stockings. And some of them I don't have a lot written on there yet, and I might write more as time goes on. Or this one's for tiny stockings, so there's 30 stockings, and I think, this little box is for the penguin. And so I might make another box, the next stocking, the next tiny ornament I make. Bookshelf, I do have a lot of information. So that bookshelf pattern that you just saw me stitching, that was my whip. I did out some of the math for it previously, and so I took the numbers from that spreadsheet and put them in here. Is that it has 72 separate colors. It has 72 single color symbols, 30 blended color symbols, 3 bead symbols, 9 backstitch symbols for 1-stranded backstitch, 5 symbols that represent 2-stranded backstitch, 3 symbols that represent cording, and 25 symbols that represent single color half stitch, and 9 symbols that represent blended half stitch symbols. That's just a lot of symbols. And she found new symbols for every single thing, and I haven't yet gotten confused on 2 symbols yet. They're all different, which is nice. So definitely recommend. Cozy Stump has a similar amount. It has 47 separate colors. 42 of them are single color symbols. 16, which means if you did that math, 3 of them, 3 colors, don't have their own symbol. They're either used in a blend or they're used with a backstitch. They're not in like the colorful cross symbols. 16 of them are blended symbols. 1 of them is a half cross symbol. 6 of them are backstitch symbols, and 1 of them is a French knot symbol. So apparently there's going to be French knots, which I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for the beads or the French knots yet when I get to those parts of the pattern, those patterns, since it's going to be for the hooks back there. But those are all the things I currently have out, and then these are all the patterns that I have that I want to make, that someday I hope to make. There's already quite a few. The Prairie Year rounds that you guys saw, I kind of already had that kitted. I want to do the pandemic. I have the Dragon Heart, which is going to be going on that. I have Spellville, which was like a stitch along, which I got it during a stitch along, but I never actually started it. I didn't even start along. The Let It Snow by Barbara Anna. And then there's all these patterns that I just got from that Etsy shop. Snowman Welcome, rows of snowmen, snowman ornaments, lots of snowmen. The Year of Blackwork Sal, there's a card for that now. And so I took, Micheele McGraw has a better description of how she's using her cards. But I took her basic premise idea, and I already had some blank, no lined index cards. Although I do have lined index cards too that I could use. I drew the lines on this one because it was just easier. And I have a little place to keep everything I'm thinking about. Especially for me, who doesn't have hard copies of patterns. I am primarily a digital stitcher, and I don't stitch a lot from handheld patterns. So keeping track of digital files can sometimes be a little overwhelming, or they can just be a lot of them and you want to be able to sort through. And so this is and I don't like having a lot of paper around or a lot of places to keep things. This is a nice compact way for me to go through if I want to pull out start a whip or like kit something up, to look through like the names of them, and then I can look through the digital files to see some of the pictures and figure out what I want to stitch and kit one. And I have a list of them, each having their own card. And maybe I can even start writing on it when I make the order, so then when I have an order come in, I don't stare at it for a little while going, what did I order this fabric for? I've done that. As a new stitcher, I've already done that. So yeah, short video today. Thank you for joining me. Come back next week to see progress on different items and maybe even some crocheting. I hope you enjoy your day and your week. Bye.